Smitty, back with another one, man. And this is the final episode of 2024. I don't know how many episodes we put out this year. I know it's less than last year. Our schedule has been all over the place this year because life has been all over the place this year, as you're going to see as we lay out everything that I've gone through this year, everything that the platform has experienced, I've experienced, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. This is, I want to say, the fourth installment. Yeah, because it's yearly. We had our 4-year anniversary. This is the fourth installment of the wrap up. This ain't the Uncle Murder wrap up, the Mad Skills wrap up. This the Smitty Daily Dimensions wrap up, and we gonna get into it, man. There's been a number of things that have happened this year. I kind of want to start with some of the positive ones. I broke it down into sections. I have notes this time because I really got to remember them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get to the end of the year and you're like, man, what happened this year? And most years feel like they go by fast, especially the older I get and my perception of time changes. I'm like, man, it just feel like these years go by faster and faster. And this is the first year in a long time where I'm like, yo, 2024 was a very long year. Like, I felt every single day of this year, every week, every moment, every second of this year, I felt it. And some of that is good. And some of that is like, yo, I'm just ready for 2025 to start. I need a new beginning. I need a fresh start. I need a new season because, boy, this has been quite the year. So I broke it into sections. I wanted to start with speaking, right, and go through everything that's happened this year in speaking. This was by far the most successful year I've had speaking. I started speaking professionally 2 years ago. And when I said I'm going to do this professionally speaking, I got 3 engagements that first year. And between them 3 engagements, I made $100. And I posted that check and I said, this is the first time I got paid speaking, and it's only up from here. And I think I still have it on my profile. I'm off socials for the moment, but I think it's still up there. And it was $100 and it was from 1 engagement. The other 2 didn't pay me, right? So I had 3, 1 paid me. It was $100. And fast forward to this year, we broken into that 5-figure range with speaking. So from $100 to the 5-figure range is amazing. It's a beautiful feeling. And now we want to get into that high 5. Then we want to high 5. That's funny. And then we want to get into the 6 and the 7. You know what I'm saying? Because I really do believe that this message is going to reach a lot of people. You know, what I've been sharing, what I've been working towards, what I've been building, it's already reached so many people, and I've been able to meet so many people and impact so many lives. But like, I keep saying it, y'all are in a very ground level stage of what is coming. And the fact that I'm able to step in and have the success that I'm having, even though it's not where I would like it to be, is a beautiful thing. And like, I have to take moments to step back and really look like, man, okay, I did that. Like, would a younger version of me have been able to do some of the things I'm doing? Absolutely not. Like, and I make myself proud every time, you know, and when I get caught up in what I want my life to look like versus what have I accomplished already, you know, sometimes I can psych myself out a little bit. When I get caught up in the future, it's like, man, okay, I'm not doing enough. But then when I look at what I've already accomplished, it's like, yo, Smitty, you have done a lot in a short time that most people don't do. And it's like, you got to be proud of that. But speaking has been good. My first event of the year was in Hartford. I spoke at a faith conference, I guess is the best way to put it. It was mental health and faith. And I was the mental health aspect, but I bridged it with faith, which is what I love to do here. And I'm like, this is right up my alley. I reached out to the person on Eventbrite. They hit me back. They said, yes, we need somebody. Drove up to Hartford with my mom. And this is fresh off of the Achilles. I had just tore the Achilles a couple months ago. They just took me out the boot and I said, I'm out, let's do it. And drove to Hartford, leg all beat up and all. And parking out there was crazy. I had to park dumb far and walk down the road. And it was in some library there. And it was on the 2nd floor. They had a conference room. It was dope. I recorded the entire thing and just have never posted the video. So that's in the archives somewhere. I recorded the engagement. I'm going to post it at some point because there's some gems in that mug. So that was dope. And then off of the heels of that, we was at Yale. And it's like, when I say this year has felt like such a long year, like the longest year of my life, bro, because Yale feels like it was last year. It feels like last year I was up here talking to y'all. I'm like, yeah, I was at Yale, blah, blah, blah. And we did it and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yeah. And it's like, that feels like last year, but it wasn't last year. It was this year. And I had to look at my post on my page to be like, was that this year? Like, I had to double check. Like, I'm at that point where I really got to look to see when things happen, because I don't every day feel like the same day. I had to go back and look. Everything the same, dog. So that was this year. That was dope. Again, like, looking at where I want to be versus what I've done, I never thought this quickly I'd be speaking at an Ivy League institution. Most people never do that. So the fact that I was able to do that, and the significance of where it took place on that campus, because I was in a spot that meant so much to me and like has history in my life in that spot. Beautiful, man. So that was dope. And I was able to connect with some dope people. I met one of the professors there, and she invited me to join a spades league or like a spades club. It was an interesting time, man. I had lunch with a few people, and it was cool, man. Yale got a special place in my heart right there. So that took place. I spoke with Groundwork Bridgeport, and there is this one kid there who I've spoken with this organization, let's say that, this organization each year that I've been speaking. And they were the first ones to pay me. And each year that I've spoken with this organization, there's been one kid in particular who has been there every time. And to see him grow, and for him to see me grow, and I remember his name every time. I'm not going to say his name on here, but he's dope. And it's just beautiful to see us growing at the same time, like these parallel journeys. And it's like, he's seeing me grow, I'm seeing him grow, and every time I come and speak to that group, I see a familiar face, and I'm like, yo, I'm proud of you, dog. Like, you doing the thing now. And I'm pretty sure he about to graduate high school or something at this point. I don't know what grade he was in when I met, but he got to be done at this point, or almost done this year. So I'm excited to see where he goes in life, man. And all of the kids I've ever worked with, man, I think that's the cool thing about working with kids is, at some point, if you stick around, you're going to see them as adults, and you're going to be able to see how they've grown. Some of them might grow the wrong way, but you get to see how they've grown. But they remember you, and they remember the impact that you've made. And all it takes is one moment to really change their life forever, and it sticks with them. I still talk about a lot of my teachers to this day, leading into the next spot, right? I was in Massachusetts at a teachers conference, Massachusetts Teachers Association. We was in New Bedford, Cape Verdean capital of the world. It felt like it was everybody in attendance. I swear 80% of the audience was Cape Verdean, and they served us some Cape Verdean food for lunch, and it was fire. Now, all right, let's sidetrack, right? Cape Verdean food. First time I ever had it. It's top 5 foods. I've had a lot of food in my life. Y'all see how seriously I'm talking about. I'm looking straight to the camera. Y'all see how seriously I'm talking about this. The tone of voice is changing. Cape Verdean food is top 5. Don't argue with me. Argue with them. But after you've had the food, it's top 5. All right. Now that I've talked about that, oh man, it was a beautiful thing. But connecting it to the teacher stuff, I spoke about one of my teachers there. Mr. Brockenberry. I've talked about him a couple times on the platform, but like, he was the first black male teacher I've ever had, and that wasn't until high school. And then I never had another one since until college. There was two, and they was us, but they wasn't us. It's the best way I could describe that. I don't want to go too deep into who they were. They was us, but they wasn't us. So this was the first dude I really like, yo, this is an example of leadership in the community, because that's how we're leading that conversation of representation and leadership and getting more black men into teaching. There's such a huge gap of black male educators, and that's what they were really speaking to when they were trying to figure out how to recruit more black men into teaching, and then not just recruit them into it, but retain them, because a lot of the ones that start don't stay in education. They end up leaving to go do something else, and that's a problem, because we need more diversity and inclusion and black male educators. You know what I'm saying? We need those. So that was part of that Massachusetts Teachers Association. That was my first out-of-state booking that we landed, man. There was one that was supposed to be in New York and then it got canceled and then they redid it and it was in Connecticut. So it didn't count as out of state. But this was the first out of state joint. They paid the price. They wasn't concerned about it. They made it happen. You know what I'm saying? I had a hotel room. We was good, man. They fed your boy. It was a beautiful experience. And I said, you know what? I could really get used to this. And this is gonna keep happening here. I like this situation we have going on. So that was dope. I spoke at Sacred Heart, and not in the capacity that I thought I would, right? So I had gone to Sacred Heart earlier in the year. And because I spoke with them last year. I was on a podcast with my boy Rob. Shout out to Rob. And I went there. I'm talking to the people there, and we're like figuring stuff out and sending prices and trying to make stuff shake. And it just didn't happen, right? This was earlier this year, so spring semester. It just didn't happen. It didn't materialize. And I said, I'm not going to chase it. You know what I'm saying? If it happens, it happens. If they hit me, they hit me. One of my friends that worked there, she hit me up. It was on a random Saturday. I wasn't doing nothing. I was actually in a funk that weekend. I was like, I don't know what's happening. She called me. She said, hey, something's going on. There's a conference taking place here. 2 people dropped out because of COVID, or they was sick or something crazy like that. She said 2 people dropped out. Can you do it? And I said, yeah, sure. What time is it? And it was like 12:30 or something like that. It's 10 o'clock when she hit me. And I'm like, oh, there ain't no time to really prepare for none of this. I said, I could do it though. And that's one of the things, if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. You know what I'm saying? And I've been doing this long enough that you can hit me at any moment and I'm going to show up and I'm going to have something to say and I'm going to be able to answer the questions and I'm going to make your event live because that's just where we are at this point. But she hit me and I had 2 hours and all of that was really like I trimmed my beard up, threw some moisturizer in here, got the skin right, all of that stuff. Did the routine. Fellas, get you a routine. And got in the Uber, went down there, found out whoever I needed to talk to about whatever, got up on stage, and here I am speaking at some conference at Sacred Heart that I wasn't supposed to be at, but I was supposed to be there because God made it happen. And I was able to connect with some people. And this one woman followed me, and she's amazing. And she low key type famous and got mad followers. And I was like, you follow me? Word is lit. Like, you know, so it was dope, man. I met a lot of people, connected with a lot of people, made some lasting impressions. And it's just a testament to like the work you put in. You stay ready. You don't got to get ready. So like speaking has been a dope thing this year. Also, I speak with a group of kids once a week and I teach them social emotional learning through podcasting, but also we have fun and do some other stuff too. Because I don't always want to be so rigid and they don't always want to be so rigid. There's one kid in particular who's like, can we go outside? You know, if you work with kids, you have that kid that every week, no matter what you do, even if he enjoys the things you do, he or she, but I work with boys, even if he enjoys the things you do every week, can we go outside? And I'm like, bro, it's December. It's cold. It gets dark really fast because I meet with them at 3:30. It's dark by like 4 or something. It's going to get dark and it's cold and I'm not trying to stand out there, watch y'all run around and do nothing. Like, no, we're staying inside. You're going to do the assignment and then we'll get you some free time later. But like, no. But yeah, working with them has been dope, man. And that's been every week. That started in the summer. I was doing something different with them in the summer. And then when the school year started, we said, yeah, let's check in with this podcast stuff. And it's been fire ever since, man. And the principal was like, yo, we might be able to get you some funding and we gonna see. I hope he ain't just say that because it sounded good, because I've seen him a couple times since and we ain't talked about it yet. But I'm like, I hope he wasn't just one of them principal things. We're like, yeah, I like what you're doing. Let's get you funding. Because especially City of Bridgeport don't really got no funding. So I hope you, and that's a whole nother story. So I hope there is some funding somewhere. So that's been speaking. Events wise, we had our first webinar this year, masculinity and mental health, and that was dope. We had a lot of signups. It was a learning experience for me because I thought the package I had for my webinar was the unlimited package. It wasn't. It was about 45-minute package. So then it shut down. Then I had to re-invite everybody and they all came back, which was dope, which means they cared. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to stop what I was doing. And I said, hey, listen, I'm going to send y'all the emails with the links again, blah, 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 blah. And I had to stay calm. I was panicking a little bit like, oh, what's going on? But we made that shake. We have more webinars coming up this year. I've already planned out about 5 of them. Because I like to plan ahead. I planned out about 5 of them. Which months they're gonna happen, not sure. We have different topics other than masculinity and mental health. That's gonna be another one that's gonna recur. But we're talking about finding your value, relationships, all types of different stuff pertaining to men. Like, this is for the brothers. And I hope that y'all sign up. Not even I hope that y'all sign up. You have to sign up because I told you to. And if you don't, I'm going to come find you. So sign up and make it easy on yourself before I got to go get you. Now, with that being said, so webinars was dope. And then we had the mental health cookout 2024. The mental health cookout is really my baby for real. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what gave me the idea to have it in the first place, because the first one was last year and it was about 20 people and I knew every single one of them. Some of them, most of them, a couple of them were just friends and family. And this year we had 50 plus people. Some people who just donated tickets and all types of stuff. We had a live podcast there. We had about 3-4 vendors, good food, music, games, giveaways. Panel was larger. We had returning guests, new guests. There was people from Massachusetts, New York, Rhode Island, here in Connecticut, all over the place, man. And it was beautiful to see men come together for something like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's great to be able to bridge mental health with meeting men where they're at, because getting men to step out their comfort zone and talk about their mental health, or even just be in a room to listen to it and consider it important and consider it valuable information, is different and it's hard to do. And these people showed up, and I had some OGs there. They was like, yo, listen, I wish this existed when I was your age and XYZ. And, they invited me to come like kick it with them with their organization and what they do. And it's like, so much has come from that. I got a million Facebook friend requests from it that I still have not responded to, because I'm like, I don't know half of y'all. If it was Instagram, is different. Go follow me on Instagram. I don't care if I know you. Facebook feel a little too personal. My mom be up there like, follow me on a different platform. But so a lot of those just gonna sit there, because I am that person that will just let it sit there. My bad. But the city of Bridgeport reposted the thing. So that was dope. I'm like, man, I'm really making, like, people in my city know me for the right reasons now, not because I was doing something crazy, but the city of Bridgeport reposted it. And Jess, I ain't forget about you. Jess plugged me in with the city to try and make something shake with them. I haven't gotten to it, but we gonna make it happen. It's serious when the voice changed, but we gonna make that shake too. And I was telling some other people, and I've told y'all before, this cookout gonna be in several different places. We gonna make this thing. Yeah, remember where it started, in the backyard. I don't even think I could do it in my backyard again this year. So it's slow for that. We got to do it somewhere else. So that's been the events. Faith wise, I joined a small group last year, and that has been super impactful to my life, because I've been able to be surrounded by other believers. And that is super important, right? If you claim to be a believer in Christ, and I know I've been talking about God more and more on this platform, and I love that for me. If you claim to be a believer in Christ, but don't have a community of believers around you, you are going to fall. Even if you have the community, you're going to fall. But if you are a believer with zero community, you're hustling backwards. You know what I'm saying? If you are a believer and the people you hang out with most frequently are not believers, and then the time with your believing community or lack thereof, and then the time with your non-believing community is skewed, you are who you surround yourself with. I'm going to say that again. You are who you surround yourself with. If you hang out with 4 bums, you're going to be the 5th one. If you hang out with 4 people who love the world, you're going to be the 5th one who love the world. If you hang out with 4 people that ain't living right, ain't necessarily pursuing righteousness, don't necessarily hold themselves to the same standard as you do, you about to be the next one. That's just how it goes. And it's why I've had to separate myself from certain places and things. You don't see me doing a lot of the things I used to. Y'all know me. Some of y'all do. And if you knew me from back in the day, you could see that I'm very different now. And if you're a believer, you got to surround yourself with a believing community. And my small group, mixing the words, has allowed me to do that. It's a place where I've been able to be vulnerable, where I've been able to cry and laugh and share pieces of myself with people, and to receive an encouraging word, but also give an encouraging word, to learn more about God, to share things with people, to be refreshed and restored. It's gotten me back into reading, because we follow, like, there's a new book each time, and we go through the book chapter by chapter, always a faith-based book. And like, I finished a book for the first time since high school. I finished a book, and now I'm on to another book that I'm about to finish. And now I really be reading for real. And this has held me accountable in a lot of ways, and it's restored me a lot in a lot of ways. And it's like, if you are a believer, get you a believing community. Don't run from it. Don't shy from it. Don't ignore it, because then when life get crazy, you're going to wish you had them people around you. You know what I'm saying? And you can have some great people in your life, but if they're not believers, the level of what they can do for you can only be but so much. You know what I'm saying? And that may rub some people the wrong way, but for me, it's simply true. You can go really far without God, but you can never go all the way. And for some people, the distance they're able to go without God is enough for them. That's cool. It's not cool, but that's your choice. I'm telling you, there's different. The distance you can go with God is unimaginable. You can't wrap your mind around it. And when you include him in your life, no matter how difficult it may be, there's a greater expected end that doesn't require you to control everything to make it happen. It actually requires less of you. Which, if you could imagine that's possible, that's a greater thing. And so get you a believing community around yourself. Really look at your circle. I say this often on this page, on this platform, in this space. Really examine the people you surround yourself with, and not whether they're a good person or not. I feel like that's too low of a bar, because it's not hard to be a good person. Just don't be a dick, right? Don't be an asshole. Be nice. We teach little kids to be nice. That's a very low bar. You learn how to be nice at like 2 years old. Share, be nice, blah. Nice is easy. That's a very low bar. Does this person hold you accountable? Does this person hold you accountable to the word of God? Does this person build your spirit? Does this person add to your God-given purpose and abilities? And does this person add to your faith-based lifestyle? Is this person helping to make you into a better person? Does this person add value to your life, right? Look at those things, because there are a lot of people in our life who are nice people, good people, maybe encouraging people. But when it's time to really, like, I need a spiritual point of view on something, you really can't give me anything. And now everything that you give me comes from your flesh. And now you're damaging my flesh. You can have a friend. I don't know why this is the tangent I'm going off on, but friendships are super important. Relationships in general are super important. And there's something to be said about being evenly yoked, right? And sometimes we will hold on to some shit that we need to let go, and because it's keeping us yoked to a level that we're supposed to surpass. Sometimes you can have friendships and relationships that serve you for a specific season in your life, and sometimes that season is really short. And the more we try and keep this person in line, or keep this person around us, is the more we're diminishing where we're supposed to be. Like, if you're supposed to be right here, and that person you holding on to is right here and ain't never going past right here, you trying to hold on to them is going to keep you right there too. and sometimes you got to let go, or put people in a different pocket. Like, just unyoke yourself, put them right there. You can still, hey, from a distance, but like, you have somewhere to go. And people who mean well for you and really be in your life can still hold you back. It ain't just the people who are obviously negative that hold you back. It's also the people who you love and care for, but don't line up with your purpose in God that will hold you back as well. And you got to step away from things that don't serve your purpose. And you got to be able to use that discernment, and you got to be able to put what God has for you before what you desire for yourself. And that's hard for a lot of people to do. Most people don't do it. I'll be honest with you, but you got to do it. So tangent done. But I had to say that, man. But faith wise, like, that's super important. Community is everything, and everything you need, God can give it to you. And a lot of times he's going to give it to you through a community. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you either change the people around you or become just like them. One or the other. You look at your life and ask, are you becoming like the people you hang around, or are you changing them for the better? It's one or the other. I got baptized in March, if you can't tell. And that was dope as well. I got baptized on Easter Sunday. And that was the second time I've been baptized. I got baptized as a kid, but I wanted to do it as an adult because I felt called to do it. And it was a beautiful thing. I think everybody should get baptized again, you know, if you feel that call. But it was amazing. And it's been big for me. And I feel like the enemy been on my heels ever since, because he's like, I don't like that you did that. I don't like that you talk about God on this platform. I don't like that you're trying to encourage people. And I don't want you to keep doing this great thing that you're doing. And I've been feeling the weight of that attack. But I'm not going to stop, because who are you to tell me not to? So that was dope as well. And keeping in line with that, like, everything that I've experienced this year, this is getting into some of the tougher stuff, right? Because there's been some great things, as we've already highlighted this year, but it's been some very, very tough things in my life. And the first tough thing in my life has been grief. Last year, I lost a cousin and a best friend. This year, I lost two more cousins. More recently, I lost one. My cousin Curtis, who lived in Georgia, passed away about the first week of December, I want to say. And came out of nowhere, caught me off guard. He was extremely young. And that was difficult. So I had to go to Georgia to attend his funeral. And I've just been navigating grief in a lot of ways, man. I lost him, my cousin Nick, my cousin Freddie, my best friend Carlos. All of them really important people to me, people I really love and care for. And it's like, you want to think that death gets easier the more you experience it. And it doesn't. It's almost like it gets worse each time because now you have a list of people that you miss. You know, it's like the first time be hard, but then it just gets worse because you either get really numb to it or you just really, like, it just kills you every time. And I'm somewhere in between. And I'm figuring all of that out. That's been a lot for me. I think that's been one of the biggest things that I've been struggling with this year is grief, man, centered around the death of people I love, but also grief in the sense of, and this is a different level of grief. And I had this conversation with myself the other day, but grief in the sense of, like, the life I thought I would have had at this point in time. You know what I'm saying? Like, who I thought I would be, where I thought I would be, and what I thought I would be doing by this age didn't happen. So that dream died. And I've been grieving that dream this year, more recently. You know, like, if you left it up to younger Smitty, I'd have been married with a kid and living in Texas and doing, like, entirely different things. I wouldn't be doing any of this. I probably would have been like a guidance counselor or something like that. Like, that's what I wanted to do when I was younger. And you know, life would have been different. And it's not that life now isn't going the way that it's supposed to. It's just, you know, when you're young and you have a dream and you have an expectation for yourself, and then when it's not met, that's hard. And that's where I've been at in recently. And that's what's been making it hard to show up and do this. I talked about that last episode. It's been hard to show up and do this because of all of these different things. And grief is wild. So it's not just been grieving people that have died, but also grieving dreams and thoughts and expectations I had for myself that have died. And now I have to dream again or believe again and trust what is happening, and what will be for me is still for me, just in a different time. And it looks a little bit different, and it's in a different package, but it's still what I'm hoping for. It's still what I'm longing for. All of these things can still happen. They just didn't happen on the timeline that I created for myself. And I'm learning to trust that that's okay. And I'm learning to trust that, like, okay, yes, I may have a plan, but God's plan is better, and it doesn't always look the way I want it to look. And it's not always super comfortable to step into. Oftentimes it's extremely difficult to step into. But on the other side of a very difficult choice is a beautiful life. You just have to make the choice. So that's been a thing. Grief has been wild. We talked about career direction. Trauma is a thing too. I've been navigating trauma, it feels like, for some years now, man. And it's hard. It's very hard to, like, tell your brain, like, yo, we're safe now. Yo, I know this situation may look like what damaged you before, but it's different now. You can make a different decision now. You don't have to try and protect yourself so hard now. And, like, coming out of that survival mode and trying to make decisions that aren't just for self-preservation, but now making decisions for healing and for growth has been very difficult. And every day I realize more and more that a lot of the things I do and the way I react and the way I approach things is all birthed from a place of trauma, and trying to just be able to exist in as peacefully as possible and to preserve myself. And it ain't good. It's been very stressful on my body, man. It's been a lot navigating trauma, man. And it's from family, it's from relationships, it's from grief, it's from, like, literally all over the place. Every avenue of my life has caused me pain and trauma in some sort of way. And I've been actively working through it. I was in therapy before. I got to a point where I was like, yo, I'm good. I done worked it all out. And then it wasn't until recently that I was like, you know what? There's new things happening in my life, and I need help with those new things. So I'm trying to go back. Not trying to go back. I am going back. I reached out to one person, but, you know, it's Christmas. So he'll get back to me when he gets back to me. I can't go to the dude I was going to before, even though that would be perfect, but he too good at what he does. So he's got a wait list. And not only does he have a wait list, he don't take my insurance. So it's like, I got to come out of pocket. So I was like, man, let me just try and build something new with somebody else. So I found somebody that looked dope. We just got to have that consultation and go from there, man. But I'm excited. And he's also faith-based. So I'm like, oh, okay. I'm looking at his degrees, and they from, like, Bible schools and stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, we might be able to click a little bit. So that's been dope. I'm getting back into that. I know therapy is going to be very helpful, and where I'm at in life and for the things I'm trying to do in my life in this moment, like, I need help, and it's okay. I want to say this straight to the camera. We're going to clip this too. I'm looking straight at you. It's okay if you need help. For whatever it may be, not just therapy. It's okay if you need help, but you got to humble yourself enough to acknowledge that you need it and go ask for it. Go seek it, go find it, and then accept it. It's okay if you need help. Nobody can do everything on their own. All right, let's keep moving. But I've been dealing with that. And in line with that, like, trusting God's vision for me, man. Because, you know, I spoke about it 2 seconds ago. Like, my life don't look the way I thought it would look. And I'm growing to accept that. I'm working to not have resentment in my heart, to not have anger in my heart or frustration or disappointment. But I've been feeling every single emotion lately, man, from good ones to bad ones all at once. And it's been a roller coaster. And a lot of it, sometimes I'll admit, I'm like, God, like, it's got to be more to life than this. Y'all ever have the moments where you just sitting there and you just look up to the sky and you're like, God, I know you love me, but it's got to be more to life than what I'm experiencing right now. Like, these the only cars you could deal me. Like, we can't shuffle the deck again, because this is rough. I can't keep doing this. I'm finna crash out. Like, somebody help me. Like, I can't keep doing it, man. So I be having the moments, man, and I struggle with that. And then it leads to, I've been feeling burnt out lately, which is why I don't record as much, which is why I don't do video as much, which is why I'll give you an audio only episode, because I just don't be feeling like doing it sometimes. And I'm trying to find that, that freshness again, that energy again. Because when you do something for a long time, like it's been 4 years now, you can get burnt out. It don't even take 4 years to get burnt out. It could take 4 weeks and you get burnt out. So I've been dealing with a lot of burnout, centered around, my career and where I want to be and all that other stuff. So that's been tough. That's been tough. And those have been the major challenges in my life: trauma and relationships and all those different things. Like, hurt me in a lot of ways, man, but I'm figuring it out and just navigating where I am in life and where I want to be and matching my timeline to God's timeline. We figuring all that out, man. So we've been overcoming. We've been doing big things. And I'm like I said, I'm looking for a therapist. I'm actively seeking one, which I'm happy about. I'm connecting with my small group. I'm trying to pray more. Me and my family prayed together yesterday. Trying to include my family in the things that I'm going through, speaking to them more, because it's something that I don't really do. I'm one of them people that I'll be trying to figure it out by myself, because that's just what I'm used to. And that just comes from a place of trauma itself. And I've been trying to figure that out too. So we've been overcoming, and those have been a lot of the challenges. But also some of the good too is I've been able to travel a lot more this year, and that's been a blessing unto itself. Some of it for reasons I wish were different. Like, I went to Virginia earlier this year, but that was to see one of my cousins who passed. And then I went to Georgia, and that was to go to a funeral for my other cousin. But there's been good travel as well. Part of that was the Georgia trip. I was able to see my cousin Edmund, who I had not seen in like 7+ years. I want to say I haven't seen him since high school. We couldn't really pinpoint the date, but I feel like I ain't seen him since the last time I was in Georgia, and I was in high school. So who knows? But it's been at least 7 years, probably closer to the 10+ side. And that's one of my favorite people, man. I haven't seen him in a minute. And I was like, yo, I know it's last minute. I don't know where you at, but like, let's figure this out. And I had to drive 40 minutes to go visit him. But I took the 40 minutes, went to go see him. And then I got to meet another one of my friends who, and I say meet because I've known this person for like 9 years, but we've never met. It's kind of crazy like that. But I was able to go meet them, meet their husband. She just had a baby, that's the baby you see on my Instagram. And I'm like, this is not my baby, but fatherhood does look good on me. And so I was able to go see them, met a whole bunch of family that drove down from Virginia for the funeral that I haven't seen since I was a baby. So, I don't know them, but they know me, is that kind of thing. And they were like, I ain't seen you since you was a baby. And I'm like, I don't feel like I've seen you ever, but I know your name. And now we put faces to names, man. So that was good. I was able to go to Buffalo, went to Niagara Falls. The falls is dope. You know what I'm saying? That Canadian falls is better than the American one. I'm sorry, but it's lit out there. Got on a boat and got wet, pause. And yeah, went to Buffalo, go see my brother, and it was lit out there. We had a dope time. And the travel was very clustered together. So I went to Buffalo. And then the week after that, I went to Massachusetts for the conference. And then the week after that, I was in Oregon to go see another one of my great friends, Isaiah. And it was lit. I was in Portland. I was in Salem. I was in Eugene. I was all over Oregon. It's a dope spot. Went hiking, seen some waterfalls. Went to an Oregon Ducks game. They cooked Maryland. Shout out to Tulloch. And that atmosphere, if you haven't gone to one of them D1 games, and not just a D1 game, but a D1 game for a really good program, because they're different. There's levels to it. And Oregon is the #1 team in the country. I went to go see that game. The experience is like no other. It's loud in a way like you can't even it's loud. It's loud. The stadium is beautiful. The state is beautiful. The people are crazy. For whatever reason, people in Oregon, the people that don't look like me in Oregon, just feel like they can come up and just touch you for no reason and just say certain stuff to you. And it's like, Isaiah had always told me about that, but it wasn't until I experienced it. And I'm like, yeah, y'all are bugging out here. This one dude came up to me just randomly. I'm walking to my seat, comes up to me and grabs me on the shoulder and rubs my shoulder like that. And he's like, yeah, you're a big guy. And I'm like, get the fuck off. Like, what? Get off me. And then he just walks away. And like, for them, that's normal. And I'm in my head, I'm like, what in your right mind makes you feel like you can just walk up and touch somebody you don't know? Like, no. And obviously, I'm not gonna wild out in the stadium and get kicked out the game, but I'm like, bro, please get off me. Like, don't touch me. Don't touch me. But that's just what they do. And it's very much one of them places that be like, yo, can I touch your hair? And is your hair like, it's that kind of place. And it's not that you feel like you in danger out there, but it's very uncomfortable. That's the best way I could put it. Now, if you in any town that's not one of them 3 towns I named, you might be in danger. But all in all, Oregon is a dope place. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. It be smelling like Christmas trees when you drive around out there. It's kind of cool. So yeah, shout out to Oregon. That was a trip. So I've been all over the place, man. Oregon, Buffalo, Massachusetts, Georgia, everywhere. I've been all over the place, man. I've been able to travel a lot, and that was dope, man. Oregon felt like a proper vacation, and I needed that. I need another one, man. I gotta get up out of here because your boy is tired. So next year, like I said, we got events already locked in. I'm trying to do something for Father's Day as well. I'm already in the works of doing something with somebody, a Father's Day hike, if you will. So if you like hiking, strap your boots up because we're doing something like that for Father's Day. Conference coming up for Mental Health Awareness Month. I got a Zoom meeting to help work with that. More webinars growing. I also got accepted into a business mentorship program. It's at the University of Bridgeport called the Bridgeport Accelerator Program. It is for small businesses located in Bridgeport. It's dope. I know a bunch of people who did the program last year. I went to the showcase. I reached out to the people, applied for the program, had the interview. It's a very, how do I want to say it? Competitive program. They only accept 12 businesses a year. And it is a 40-week program, every week for 40 weeks, about once or twice a week. It's a commitment. And they connect you with some dope people who know what they're doing to help make your business grow. And then they also give you a grant. And they really want us to see you succeed. And that's the vibe I got from the people in there when I did the interview. And even during the interview, I knew I got accepted once the interview was over, because I do good interviews. If there's one thing I'm going to do, it's a good interview. And they got to the end. I'm answering all the questions really well. And they got to the end, and I said this last time, but they were like, do you have any questions for us? And steal this. I keep telling y'all, steal this next time you have an interview. I said, what would make you not choose me? And they was like, oh my God. So yes, use that every time. It's great. So that's happening. And then, of course, the webinars, expanding the cookout, lots of different things shaking for this year coming up, man, that I'm excited about. And then the last thing I'm going to leave y'all with before I get up out of here is fasting. So as y'all know, for the last 2 years, every January I fast. Last year, I did it for a week, fasting every day, sun up to sundown. It was 7 days. This year, I did it for the entire month of January, and it's only by God that I was able to do it because I felt like I was going to pass out. And I wasn't waking up before the sun to eat. I just wake up, go about my day, and I eat when the sun go down. And it's one of them things, I'm looking at the clock, and I'm like, 1 more minute till I can eat this food. And the food be right in front of me. I'm like, 1 more minute. Let's do it. And then I got it. So this year, I will be shooting for a month again. I feel like that's the standard, man. Like, 1 month, start your year off right, set the tone for your year, be intentional about your year. You do not have to do 31 days like me. You do not have to do the entire month of January, but minimum, right? Minimum 3 days. Fast with me this month. If you want to know more about fasting, the biblical importance of fasting, why we need to do it, why it's refreshing, why it will change you, why it's dope, tap in with me. I can send you all that information. We can chop it up. We can have a good conversation about it. But this January, a minimum of 3 days. We're going to do it like this. You could do 3 days. You could do 7 days. Or you could go for the whole month. We ain't going to do no 2 week, blah, blah, blah. 3, 7, or the whole month. So minimum 3. Sun up to sundown. If you want to wake up real early and eat before the sun come out, you could do that. If you want to be like me and you don't want to get up that early and you want to eat when the sun go down and it's the only meal you had today, cool. Also, if you have medical conditions, consult your doctor. XYZ. I probably shouldn't have done it, but God sustained me because I was on them blood thinners this January, and all types of stuff. And I probably should have been eating, but I wasn't eating. I'm waking up and having Eliquis for breakfast. It was so wild time, and then not eating until the end of the night. But I'm in a better spot now. I'm off of that stuff, and I feel good, man. But yeah, tap in, do what you got to do. At least 3 days, minimum 3 days. And sun up to sundown, we're going to fast. We're going to get closer to God. We're going to deepen our spirituality and just connect with who created us, man. And that's God above. So thank you for listening to the 2024 wrap up. It's been a pleasure. I love sharing this year with y'all. And there's so much more to go. There's so much more that we are going to do and achieve and experience together. And I appreciate y'all taking this ride with me, man. So until next time, this is Daily Dimensions. Peace.